All right, welcome everybody. My name is Julie Brown. I am a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator, and I'd like to welcome you tonight to my Facebook Live. I love making cards, and so tonight I'll be showing you one of the bundles from the mini catalog that came out in January. It seems like that was so long ago, but we're still only in February. But I've just been working so hard on all of the different products in that catalog to try to make sure I'm getting everybody a chance to see everything that they want to see. So if you're new to watching me, please comment, let me know you're here, let me know your name. Love to hear from you. Also, if you have any questions while I am doing my demonstration, please feel free to type that in. I do try to look up and look at those questions so that I can answer them. I love it when you guys comment. I love it when you answer. I love it when you give me thumbs ups and hearts and all of that good stuff. So continue to do so. But if you are watching me on Facebook, make sure that you follow my Facebook page. That way, anytime I go live, you will be able to see me. Hey, Shanine. And if you're watching this on YouTube, which it'll be a recording, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way I will be able to eventually do lives on YouTube, which will be really exciting. So anyway, hey Mel, I'm so glad you guys are both here. So let me just get rid of some housekeeping really quick. So there's the hostess code for this month. So for those of you that are in my monthly group, that need to place an order for that group, there's the hostess code that you need to use for that. Also, if you're new to Stampin' Up! And you'd like to place an order with me, I would love it. If your order's under 150, please also use that hostess code. If it's over 150, you will not want to use that because then you get the rewards. So, and you order at juliebrown.stampinup.net. I also have my other contact information there. So one of the probably the most important ones you want to go to is my blog, stampinjuliebrown.blogspot.com, because that is where I post most of the step-by-step instructions. Hey, Diane, so glad to see you. Hey, Pat. Oh my gosh, I have so many popping in tonight. That's exciting. So anyway, that's the information. If you need to order or if you want to join my team, you'll go to juliebrown.stampinup.net and you can do that there. Okay, next thing really quick as far as announcements go. This Saturday, this is so exciting. This is my first time doing this, but this Saturday, we are going to be doing a Zoom card making class. And it's going to be at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to be designing the layout. And you guys will be having your stamp sets, your paper, your cardstock, your ink ready to go. And we're going to do a step-by-step process with, I'm going to show you how to cut the pieces out. And it really doesn't matter what stamp set. The layout that I'm going to pick should work for any stamp set. But the reason I'm doing this is because I want you guys to start using the stuff that you're buying. And get you motivated to do that. So just you can comment here if you want to be part of that, because I will need to send you the Zoom link for that. But that'll be this Saturday, February 13th at 10 a.m. And we will get to see each other. So, you know, you might want to at least brush your hair. I don't know if I will. I just throw mine up anyway. So anyway, but we would love to have all of you on with us. And I'm looking forward to this being such a fun time where we can just get together and we can talk to each other and we can visit and then we can make cards with each other. So it should be really fun. All right. So today I am working with the Friendly Flamingo Bundle. And that comes with this really cool stamp set. There's 12 stamps in the stamp set. And this is one of my favorite types of stamps. I know I've told you guys this before, but it's a distinctive stamp set. And it always tells you that. So if you look at it in the catalog, and I believe this is on page 43, but if you look at it, you'll see a little tiny label on there that says distinctive. And what that means is that when you stamp it, it already has all of the shadings in it, which makes it really neat and really pretty. So they're hands down my favorite stamps are the distinctive ones. Now this one also comes with dies. And so the dies actually cut out the flamingo, and they cut out this here. They cut out this vine here. They cut out these little tiny flowers here. They cut out these 3 little flowers. And then they have some standalone dies, which for those of you that saw me do the open house, I showed you a bookmark that one of my team members made, and she actually did a lot of the standalone dies. I call them standalone dies because they don't cut out a stamp once you stamp it. So I call these standalone dies, and she made an adorable bookmark. And I thought I had it here, but I think my granddaughter absconded with it. She saw it and fell in love with it. I thought I caught her, but I'm not seeing it, so she may have taken off with it. All right, so let's get started about what we need for this set. Now this one may take a little longer tonight because I am going to be cutting out dies with you. So for this one, I used a piece of mint macaron, and this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then you will need 3 pieces of white. And I don't call it whisper white anymore because some of us still have whisper white, but some of us have gotten the new basic white. So whatever white you have will work. And you need 3 of these that are 4 by 5 1/4. And then you're going to need this is just a scrap piece of Flirty Flamingo that I had sitting around. I didn't really measure it. You do not need this big of a piece, but it's what I had, so it's what I'm using tonight. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the front of the card, and let me just bring in some scrap paper underneath just in case I'm going to be stamping off a little bit. And then let's bring in this really pretty stamp set. And the first thing that we're going to stamp is this flamingo. So I'm just going to take off this top clear part, and I'll stick it back in there because I'm going to be getting a lot of stamps in and out tonight. Alrighty. So we're going to stick our flamingo, and he does fit on, I think this is that E. This is block E. So you do need kind of this big block for that. I'm going to ink him up, and remember, I've always tried to teach you guys that if your stamp is bigger than the stamp pad, then you want to take the stamp pad to the stamp. And what that means is that I'm going to ink it up doing it like this instead of trying to do like this because this is smaller. All right, so then I'm going to try to line this up. And I don't want this all the way at the bottom because I'm going to be putting some stuff at the bottom. So I'm going to leave, probably I'm going to say about 1/2 inch at the bottom. Oh, almost did it without my, remember that I always try to use my silicone mats when I'm using the polymer stamps, just so I get a better covering. And because I've waited a little bit since I put the ink on this, I'm going to breathe on it. We call it huffing. And I'm going to breathe on it to re-moisten the ink. Which probably during COVID, not a good thing. All right. All right, so we're going to put that down and pull it up. And then I want to bring this close so you can see what I'm talking about with that distinctive stamp. See how it put all those highlights in there? Isn't that just beautiful? I just love distinctive stamps because they just look real. It just makes it look real. Okay, so let me clean this up. Oh, I hope I've been using all of my pads, and so I don't know if I have one that's wet enough. I think this one is. It looks like it's got some moisture in it still. So we're going to clean that up. And these are our chamois, and all you do is add water to them and then put them in a case to keep them wet, and they clean your stamps right up. It's so cool. Okay, so let me move that. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our block H, and I'm going to bring in the vine. And we'll put that on here. And I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to do it in both Shaded Spruce and Mint Macaron inks. All right, so I'm going to bring this one in. And again, this is bigger, or at least longer, than the ink pad. So for me, I find it easier to ink it up this way. All righty. And this I'm going to be kind of stamping off the bottom of the page. So we're going to bring that in like so. Oops. And see what happened? I didn't put equal pressure. That's what's nice about these clear stamps, though. If I can try not to get my head in it, you can just kind of go back and push down where you missed, and look at that, fills it right in. All right, so then I'm going to come in with this one. Hopefully I didn't have my head in the way for that. And this one is going to be kind of down in this corner, like so. Alrighty. Then I'm going to clean that off, and we're going to come in with the Mint Macaron. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm also going to take this one across the top here, because I'm kind of trying to make this look like it's like the flamingos in an oasis. And you'll notice that I am kind of stamping part of it off, which is fine. Okay, because I didn't want it to be like perfect or exact. And then I'm just gonna do this tip right here and come in and try to get it kind of lined up. Like so. And that way it just kind of gives it that look of that that he's in an oasis, or she. He or she, whatever you want it to be. All right, so let's clean this off, and then I'm going to come back with the Mint Macaron on the bottom down here, and we're going to put a couple of these in that color. All right, but before I do that, I'm going to come in with Pool Party, and we've got this really cool stamp in here. I'm loving this stamp. And it's kind of like water. So it's like the ripples in water. So see, it's right there. But this is what it looks like. And then I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to do some ripples around the feet of the flamingo. And actually it's going to be kind of up higher, because his feet probably won't show. So I'm not worried about covering his feet right there with this. Normally I would like cover that possibly with a post-it note, but because that's going to be covered with something else. But see how that looks like ripples of water? Isn't that cool? Loving this set. Really loving this set. I finally got to play with it when Brenda made that bookmark, which was really cool, and now I've gone a little crazy with it. So, but we are only doing one card tonight because this one takes a little bit of time. All right, so now I'm going to come in with the Mint Macaron. Same thing. I'm going to take the ink pad to the stamp, and this time I'm going to take this, and we're going to put that right down like that. So I just wanted a little edge coming up right there. And then we're going to do that one more time. And this one is going to be a little bit taller over here. All right, so that's just kind of bringing in one of the other greens, basically. All right, so I'm going to kind of set this to the side because we're going to be stamping on another. Actually, I've already done the stamping on the other page just to make this go a little quicker tonight. So, so this was one of your 4 by 5 1/4. Then the second 4 by 5 1/4, I pre-stamped it. So basically what I did is I used this stamp and I did it in shaded, 1 in Shaded Spruce and 2 in Mint Macaron. And again, I want to get this really close. Isn't the detail just great on these distinctive stamps? I just love them. And then this is the little flower here. And I just stamped 4 in Flirty Flamingo and 4 in Daffodil Delight. And then I went ahead and I colored in this, and this was dark Daffodil Delight and dark Flirty Flamingo. So I am gonna just color this last one in, just for those of you that maybe haven't seen our Stampin' Blends. But this one is a little different, and let me get you a little closer. Because usually we use black Memento ink because it doesn't run. But when we're using this type of ink, it can run. So I usually don't do a lot of blending as far as light and dark. I usually just color, and I try to go fairly quickly so that it doesn't, because it can pull this green up into your flower. If, you know, usually I'm telling you guys to saturate when you're using Stampin' Blends. This time I'm going to tell you don't saturate it. Just have a really light touch. And I'm going to, like I said, I try to go fairly quick so it doesn't really give that Shaded Spruce any time to start bleeding and moving into the pink or the Flirty Flamingo. So it will work if you do it like that, just so you know. So you can use the regular ink pads. You've just got to be, you just really don't want to do a lot of shading, and you don't want to saturate it like you normally do when we're blending it together. So just so you know, it is doable. But I'm going to show you one thing I do. So anytime that I'm using that, I will take this, and even though I don't see any green on it, I am going to just kind of clean that off just to make sure that it didn't pick up any of that Shaded Spruce ink. So then I'm going to come in with the Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to do the same thing. And again, I'm just going to go, you know, as quick as I can. And I'm just really barely touching this. Like I said, because the more you saturate it, the more that Shaded Spruce would start to bleed into the other colors. And this is the one case where we do not want it to bleed. And of course, you can always use the Stampin' Right markers too. Those would work great. They don't blend, and they wouldn't make any of it bleed. But I just wanted to show you that you can use the Stampin' Blends with the other ink colors. You just have to do it a little bit differently than what we normally do. Okay, so that's what all of these are going to look like. Now I'm going to, whoops, other direction. I'm going to bring in the die cutting machine, if I can get that to move. And we're going to do some die cutting. So one of the cool things about this die set is sometimes when we go to where we're cutting these little tiny pieces, they only give us one die, but look, they have given us 1, 2, 3 of the little flowers. So it makes cutting it out go a lot quicker than having to just cut one by one by one. All right, so let me bring in my die cut machine. All right. So hopefully you guys can see that okay. So yes, I'm so glad that I'm feeling better. I was not feeling good, thought I had COVID, went and got a kabillion tests, and everything came back negative. So apparently I just had a really bad cold, which I guess is good news. But, you know, when you feel that bad, you're kind of, you know, I guess I'm not hoping that it's something more serious, but it's like, I don't like that a cold kind of kicked me to the ground there a little bit. All right, so then you're just going to, and normally what I do with these is you can actually mark these. I don't know if I have, I don't think I have my little marking pen that I need for this. But I usually just kind of, when I stamp these little flowers, I stamp them kind of in the same direction with the same point that's up. And then I know how to lay my die down so that it fits the flower, if that makes sense. That may not have made any sense whatsoever. I'll bring this closer in a minute and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But let me get this cut out. Hopefully none of those moved when I set that down. So just kind of as a rule of thumb, when you're, especially with flowers, I think are the hardest ones to sometimes line up with the dies. And so if you learn to stamp them in the same direction every time, then it's a lot easier to line up the die. So let me bring this close and I'll show you what I'm talking about really quick. So when I stamped it, see this leaf right here? This top leaf is kind of like my point of reference. And so if you'll notice when I stamp it, I always stamp that one like either to the top or a little bit to the left. And that way I know that when I come in with my die, I know how to line it up because I can find that same point of reference on my die. And like I said, I usually mark it. So I will mark this, but I'm marking it with the wrong thing right now. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So, so this is that, this on that die is the top. And so I'll put a little mark. Let me show you that. So that tells me that that's the top of my flower. So then when I go to line it up, it's really easy for me to line it up each and every time. Of course, I would need to mark each one of these, but I know what I'm looking for. So anytime that you have like a punch or a die that you feel like it's a little hard to line up, is because, like I said, flowers I think are probably the hardest ones, or tend to be the hardest ones. That's just a good way to mark your dies so that it's just easy. And then again, you have to remember to stamp it, you know, in the same direction. You know, you have to find that petal that is your point of reference, and then you always stamp that petal so that it's at the top of the sheet. Does that make sense? Sometimes I say things and it makes sense in my mind, but I don't know if it makes sense to you guys. But I hope that made sense. All right, so let me get this piece up. And those off, and then we got one more cutting to do. But see how it's nice when you have those small dies and they give you more than one. I had to cut out 3 of these anyway, but I would still be cutting if I had to keep you know, keep cutting flowers if they didn't give me 3 dies. So I really like it when they do the multiple dies. Even though it is the same one, I still like it because it just makes it go faster. So are none of you talking to me today? I'm not getting much response, ladies. I don't know if I'm that far ahead of you or... So hopefully that made sense, me telling you about where to put the dot. I since none of you are responding, I don't know if that actually made sense or not. So hopefully it did. So those are the dies that we're going to use today. And like I said, there's, you know, if I had wanted to cut out my flamingo, this flamingo die, just to show you, we'll cut out that flamingo. So see how that will cut out that flamingo, and then of course this die would cut out all of the leaves as well. So, all right, good idea. Thanks, Mel. Yay! Y'all are talking to me. Okay. All right, so now let's pull in, and I'm actually going to go ahead and put this on my card front as I start to build my card. And I kind of like to do that because unless I'm tying a ribbon around it, okay. Okay, great. Thanks, Shanine. Glad that that made sense. So the only time that I don't like put my card front on and then build is when I'm wrapping ribbon. So if I'd had a ribbon, I would do the ribbon first, and then sometimes I will actually build off of the card front and then put it on. It really just depends on what I'm doing as to whether I put it on. But I actually prefer putting it on the card front first, because then like this one's going to have a little bit of dimension on it. And I just kind of feel like when you're adding dimension, it's a lot easier to, you know, be building on the card front. All right, so we're going to lay this down. If I can get it straight. Whoopsies. Okay, there we go. So we've got that on there. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take, and I probably actually only needed one of these, but I wasn't sure if it would fit. So I'm actually going to cut this in half. Let me find my paper snips. I've got my little thing that holds those turned opposite. So I'm actually, and I know everyone's probably freaking out. It's like, oh, why is she doing that? But I'm actually going to cut these, and I think, let me put this up here so I can see if this works. Hey, Patty, thanks for joining. Yeah, I actually, so I think I'm going to do it like this, and I'm still going to use this whole one here, because I kind of want this piece down here to kind of cover up some of this white down here. So I'm going to just take some liquid glue. Oh, new jar. And we're just going to put a little bit of that on the back. Always remember I know that we get, like with the liquid glue, we get to where we're, you know, we kind of pound it a little bit and we're using it. But remember, when you get a new one, it's going to come out pretty quick. So be aware of that. So that little piece is going to go right there. And I'm really not wanting that to fall below there. And then I'm going to come in with this whole piece, because I kind of want to, like I said, I want this to kind of be down in that section. Let me get a little bit closer. Okay. And then again, we're just going to put that on here. And then this is just going to come in like so. Patty, thank you so much. You always share my videos, and I just love that you're sharing them. So yeah, so the rest of you, I hope you will, you know, share these with people that you know that like to make cards, because it's just kind of fun to, you know, get the information out and just show them, you know, different things to do. And just always remember that even if you guys aren't, you know, you're not buying Stampin' Up! Products, but you just have stamps at home. You know, most of the layouts that I show, you can turn into, you can use any other stamp set and make it work. So, so don't be afraid to, you know, share it with all of your friends who love card making. I think we might be, I don't want to say becoming extinct, but, you know, I think more and more people just don't, you know, they don't write letters anymore, and they don't, you know, make cards anymore. And I just think it's so special to be able to send a handmade card to somebody where they know that you've put a little bit of thought and effort into it. And I just think, I don't think I've ever had anybody say, yeah, don't send me any more of your homemade cards. You know, I think they really enjoy getting them. All right. So then this is just going to kind of lay, I'm going to try to center it the best I can. So that's just going to kind of lay like that, like so, on there. Alrighty. Okay, so then we're going to come in with our little flowers, and I'm going to kind of do 2 layers of flowers, and these are going to go on the top. And again, I'm coming in with liquid glue, and I'm just going to kind of place, the first layer is going to go flat on there. So, and I'm going to kind of go back and forth between pink and the Flirty Flamingo and the Daffodil Delight. And again, I'm not, you know, I'm not real exact when I do things. I just kind of put them where I think they're going to look good. I know that there are people that, you know, want to know the exact distance between them. And I don't do that. I don't measure all of that out. I just kind of lay it and hope it looks good. Okay, so there's our first layer. Now for our second layer, and we want to be careful not to cover the center of the flowers, and you'll find out why that's important in just a second. So then I'm going to take the opposite color. You know what? Let me get my Take a Pick tool. Makes it easier to pick up these. So if you've never used it for that, that's another good thing for your Take a Pick tool. So I'm just going to stick that on there. And then it's going to just kind of pop up like so. Okay, then we're going to come in with the yellow. And this is just to kind of give it some really fun dimension. And again, I'm being careful not to cover the centers. And then again, I'm just going to take that Take a Pick tool, and you basically just poke it into the dimensionals, and it just pulls those dimensionals right up. So another really good use for the Take a Pick tool, like it needed another one because it's awesome. And that one's going to go right there. And then our last little yellow one is going to kind of come down the side over here. All right, now before I do any embellishing, I'm going to come in and with this Flirty Flamingo piece, I'm going to bring in one of the sentiments, and this says Happy Birthday. And so I'm going to do the happy birthday. We always need birthday cards, right? Who doesn't need birthday cards? I know, Shanine, I love the Take a Pick tool too. There's just so many things you can use it for. It is amazing. I don't know what I ever did without it, to be honest. Isn't that funny how we've gone for so long and not had the tool, and then we get it and we end up using it all the time, and then we're like, what did I ever do without it? So some of the things that I try to do is when I have, it's hard to do this on paper because the polymer stamp tries to stick to the paper. But if you can lay it down and then pick it up, it's still a little bit cockeyed a little bit, but it does at least keep the polymer stamp straight. And I don't have to be perfect right now because I'm going to be punching this out. And I'm doing it at the bottom because I am going to be using a punch, and I want to be able to fit that punch up in there. And I have lost, there it is. I was like, I have lost the chamois again. So this card might be a little fancy and a little over the top for some of you. I don't do a lot of these really frilly ones, but I was just kind of sitting and playing and having too much fun with this one. Okay, so then this is the classic label punch. And another punch that I use a lot because it's just really quick for these little small labels. And you'll notice that I always do it from the back side. And the reason I do that is so I can look and make sure that it's lined up, and then I just punch it. So another little tip for using those label punches. Okay, then we need 2 more dimensionals. So let's pull in our Take a Pick again. And I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put 3. Whoops. Left that dimensional behind. Come on. All right. And then it also takes off your little paper for you as well. Oh, you guys aren't seeing any of that. I don't have it in the camera. Whoops. Okay. So I just put 3 dimensionals on the back of that. And then I'm just going to take this, and this is actually just going to kind of sit right below that little yellow flower and go towards our pretty little flamingo there. All right. So we're going to finish the front in just a second. But I want to go ahead and do the inside and show you what I designed for the inside. So on the inside, we're going to come in with one of the other sentiments. So the front says happy birthday, and then this one says hoping your day is as amazing as you are. Oh no, you used a punch for a card and pinched the heck out of your hand. Ow! Yeah, that can happen if you're not paying attention. I know that when I'm using these, I use these a lot. My grandkids love to stamp. I mean, it's one of their favorite things to do when they come to my house. And they also love to punch things out. And so I am always really careful because when you are punching, a lot of people like to grab it like this and punch. And if you do that, your skin can get caught in here. And that may be what happened with Shanine. I'm real careful that when I'm punching, if you'll notice, I have my fingers on the front of the punch, but I usually push here. If I have to come up here, I hold it out like this. And that's how I've taught my grandkids to do it too, because if you do hold it close, it can get you, and it hurts. So I feel bad for you, Shanine, because I have been pinched by them before, especially when I'm going really fast and not paying attention. Again, I'm bringing the silicone mat in because these are the polymer stamps. Now, you don't have to have the silicone mat, but you do want some type of cushion underneath. I just happen to use the silicone mats because I have them because of all the different things that these silicone mats can be used for. So they work really good for me. But you can just put even a piece of that that foam stuff that you can get from Hobby Lobby will work as well. So I'm just going to stamp that. Yay, look, I got it straight. Whoop, whoop. Hey, Vanessa, how are you feeling? I hope you're recovering quick. All right, so I'm going to, well, I don't even know why I'm bringing this in because I'm stamping on here. So now what I'm going to do is I want to go up this side again with that vine. Just again to give it a little bit of a fun look on the inside of the card. You know, what we like to say is that, you know, it's just as important to make the inside look pretty as the outside. So I'm going to come in, and I think I'm just going to get it to where it's sticking up like that. All right, so I just kind of wanted that to kind of go up. Now you could continue it if you wanted to and try to get it lined up. And let's just do that for the fun of it to see if I can get it lined up. I'm always up for a challenge. Let's see how that turns out. Yay! It worked. So you're sore and tired. Oh, I'm so sorry. So see, I just kind of connected it to that leaf, and then it looks like the vine's going all the way up the side. Fun! See, isn't that fun? And then you could come in with the other color if you wanted to and just put, you know, a few at the bottom, but I'm not going to do that. But just an idea. So let's clean this off. I've somehow managed to... My chamois aren't that... I used them for a class with some young girls in our church, and I have not re-wetted them since then. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we're going to put this on the inside of our card, and then we're going to finish up the front of our card. So do any of you guys have any questions concerning anything about this set? Like I said, it's, you know, the nice thing when we get the dies that, like this, that cut out what we stamp and then the standalone dies, it really just opens it up to being able to do a lot more with that bundle when they have that on there. And again, like I said, distinctive, distinctive, distinctive. I love distinctive stamps. You guys will hear me say that a million times because I'm just in love with them. And it's so funny because I've even bought stamp sets that like weren't my favorite images, but if they were distinctive, I'm like, I'm gonna get them. And I've never been sorry because they've always come out really cute. Okay, so then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in some of our basic rhinestones. And we're just gonna kind of pop, and I actually used quite a few of these gems because I just really think that it made this, it really just put a really fun finishing touch. And now I'm using the putty end of this if I can. I'm almost out, and I have forgotten to order more replacements, so I'm going to be out of luck for a while. So the putty end just basically helps you to pick up those jewels, because these are adhesive jewels, so they have adhesive on the back. So it just kind of helps you to pick those up. But like I said, I just did my order for this month, and I totally forgot to add that onto the order. I need to get better at that and like go in and just get, when I'm thinking about it, so like when I'm done with this class tonight, go in and set up a demonstrator order and put that on there so I don't miss that next time. Because, you know, you can get sidetracked really easily, as we all know. We know what we want, and then we see we see someone do a card, and we're like, oh wait, now I want that. So I know I do the same thing, ladies. It's not just you. I do the same thing, and that's why I don't have my putty refill. So for those of you that don't know, the putty refills just kind of go into the end right here. But I just wanted to show you how pretty this looks by adding, you know, sometimes it's just the tiniest things that we do. And so this one, I'm just going to try to lift that up a little bit because I want that to poke out a little bit out of the bottom there. All right, so there's our card. Look how pretty it looks with those rhinestones. Isn't that pretty? Here, let me get my lights so that they'll actually shine on them. So see what I mean by just adding those rhinestones? It just gave it just a more elegant look to it. So what do you guys think? Fun card, huh? And it really wasn't that labor intensive. I mean, a lot of it was just stamping and cutting out. You know, and then the inside looks like so. So does anyone have any questions concerning this particular bundle? Again, this is a bundle. It's not a suite. And just to explain to you guys, the difference is a suite usually has paper and It'll have paper with it. It'll have, or designer series paper. It'll usually have some type of embellishment, whether it's gems or ribbon or something like that. But a bundle is usually just, and I'm going to bring the bundle in so you guys can see it. But a bundle is usually just a stamp set and either dies or a punch. And this particular one comes with the dies. So that's the set. Let me see if I always go the wrong direction. Alrighty. So yeah, so this is a bundle, so it doesn't come with paper, so you have to kind of design. Now you can use designer series paper, because the one nice thing about Stampin' Up is that it does, even though it's not part of a suite, their designer series paper usually coordinates with each other. So even within the mini catalog, you can find some other designer series paper that would look, you know, just as pretty with this set. So anyway, that is what I had. Oh, and let me pull that up for you. So that is the Friendly Flamingo Bundle. You can find it on page 43 of your catalog. And Diane, I don't know if you're still here, but did you finally get your catalog? I hope you did, because I mailed it a while back and I haven't heard from you. So hopefully you have the catalog, but this is on page 43. And remember, guys, that celebration ends, so just so you guys know, celebration ends at the end of February. And so, you know, the celebration catalog is the one that you can get free. That stuff in there is free based on if you've spent the minimum amount. And, you know, it starts in the U.S. So if there's someone here watching from another country, in the U.S., you have to spend at least $50 to get a free item. And then there is also, but it's for every 50, not just 50. So it's not like you have to spend over 50 and you get one free item. For every $50 you spend, you get a free item. So what's cool is for those of you signing up, the same thing applies. So if you're signing up and you are spending, you know, well, I think it's like $99 to sign up. So you still will probably only get one, but you still get a free celebration item, which is cool. But anyway, so just, you know, keep that in mind that it ends at the end of February. If any of you are considering signing up and being a demonstrator, again, let me stress to you, you do not have to do what I do to be a demonstrator, but you do get a pretty good discount to be a demonstrator. I have several people that are part of my team that are demonstrators just so they can get the discount because they place orders that would qualify them to be a demonstrator. So if you're ever wondering about that, let me know, because I would hate for you to be mad at me because I didn't tell you about the discount you can get for being a demonstrator. But again, guys, I hope everybody's having a great time. Don't forget about the Zoom card making class this Saturday. If you want to be part of that, let me know and I will send you the link. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. So that class is you using your products. It's not me saying, I need you to have this stamp set. It's you saying, I'm going to pull out my paper and I'm going to pull out my stamps and my ink. And then you're just going to make the same layout that I do, but you're going to use your stuff instead of what I'm using. It should be a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm doing a design that should work with almost any stamp set that you have. I can't wait. I'm really excited about this and I hope that you guys will join me, but you do have to let me know ahead of time so I can send you the link so that you can be on with us and we will see each other and we'll get to talk to each other and have some fun. And I do apologize for having to switch weeks because I had this cold. I was a little nervous about having people over this week. So we will have our normal monthly class next week. So you guys can look forward to that as well. So let me know if you want to be part of the Zoom card making class. Like I said, it should be a ton of fun and I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. If you guys have any other questions and I sign off before you think of your question, just type it in and I will see those later and I will answer it, when I see the question. So everybody have a great night, and we will be talking to you at hopefully Saturday, but if not Saturday, I will be live again next Tuesday. Talk to you soon. Bye.